This is a 2020 Schwinn Axum DP available from Walmart. Yes, this is a Walmart bike. A Walmart bike that comes with mechanical disc brakes, a 1x8 drivetrain, 2.6-inch tires on 35mm wide 29-inch wheels, Boost 141 QR rear spacing, 100mm travel coil fork with a lockout, and a real tapered head tube with a 67.8 degree head angle. Oh, and a 125mm dropper post, all for under $500. But how good of a bike could it be at that price point? Watch and I'll share my thoughts and opinions. I took it to a local XC trail, which is just what this bike is spec'd for. Out on the trail, I was pleasantly surprised with how good the bike maneuvered. It handled really well and got up to speed easily and rolled fast on the small knob tires. These tires did well on hard pack and rock, but not so well on the sandy corners until I could figure out just what I could get away with. Tire choice is greatly determined by your local trail, so I don't fault the tire choice here. This thing feels good as far as maneuvering. Getting around these corners. It handles really nice, actually. Digging it. The drivetrain worked well and the shifting felt pretty crisp, and I had minimal chain slap. I have a SRAM X5 derailleur on my Diamondback, and it has a lot more chain slap than the X derailleur, so the spring mechanism that Schwinn went with to provide additional tension to the chain is doing its job. It handled much better than a sub $500 bike has a right to, but just has a few things holding it back. What really jumped out at me were the brakes. I knew from watching other reviews that the brakes were going to be an issue. I had to brake much sooner, and they didn't inspire much confidence to go into the flat corners with speed. The next day I swapped out the mechanicals for some Shimano hydraulic brakes and rotors that I had in the garage with a bar and stem because the levers were already attached. The stock bar wasn't working for me, but the stock stem was fine. It only got changed because I changed everything as one unit to keep it simple. I also replaced the seat because the stock seat was just too narrow for me. I've had to replace the seat on all but one of my bikes, so that's not a minus to the Axum. Seats are an area that bike manufacturers can never please everyone. The brake change was a massive improvement. Being able to carry more speed and brake later due to greater braking power really upped the fun factor. fork is a very basic affair. Small drop-offs that are normally rolling let the fork do its job. I found it was better to treat them like small drops. After I adjusted my style to that, I really stopped noticing the forks. A little low on that one. I even took the Axum into the jump line section in most of the jumps. I had never been in there before, and I've never attempted jumps that big. I didn't clear all of them, but it was fun trying. I haven't got what makes this different from the other version, the dropper post. The dropper does what it's supposed to do. It goes down and comes up like it should, but it has more resistance going down than I'm used to. The lever is also not very confidence-inspiring. It doesn't feel very sturdy and takes a decent amount of pressure to activate the post. Maybe the lever just isn't long enough to provide the leverage needed to activate it easier. It is usable, so I'm going to run with it, but if I had to do it over, I would go with the non-dropper version of the Axum and add another $30 to the $100 price difference and get a Brand X dropper post. I have two of those and they have been great, so the extra $30 would get me a much better dropper post. If my budget was set at $500, I would go with the $398 non-dropper version and use the leftover money for a brake upgrade, new saddle, and pedals. Those would have a much bigger impact on the performance and enjoyment of the bike than a dropper would. There's a lot of potential in this bike that can be realized for a relatively low amount of money and will leave you with a better, more capable bike than more expensive bikes in its category. I'm going to keep riding it to see how it holds up long term and will continue to put out updates on its status. Thanks for watching, and see you on my next adventure.